Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at John Sneisen, and there's always news from the world order. Christine Lagarde, who should have been in prison quite a long time ago, interestingly is still saying things and is with the IMF. Anyway, I wanted
Is that the same thing though, Josh?
Yeah.
Or being in prison?
Well, it's prison for the rest of us, prison planet. But I want to go into this article from the Epoch Times because I've noticed, well, you could see her standing in front of the New World of Finance sign there. I've noticed that there's a huge discernment between what creates monopolies and what stops monopolies from being created. And it goes into basic capitalistic ideology and doctrine, and it's really not that difficult to understand. But we're going to explain that a bit to you guys today, as we have in the past, because as she says, Lagarde, world may face a monopoly problem in the future. And as the article goes into, the rising power of a few corporate giants could weaken investment, deter innovation, and reduce the share of income paid to workers in advanced economies, according to a new report by the International Monetary Fund. While the overall macroeconomic effect of the rising monopoly problem have been modest so far, further increases in the market power of big companies could become increasingly negative if they were left unchecked. The problem could take a bigger toll on economic growth and people's incomes in the future, warned the IMF, which urged policymakers to keep the market competition strong. Speaking at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde talked about the increasing concentration of market power in advanced economies. She said a small number of highly successful companies accounted for the high price markups. According to the IMF, the price markup, how much a company charges for its products compared with how much it costs to produce, is a good measurement of market power. I would agree, but for different reasons. Going back to the article, it says, when a company's market power increases, it can maximize its profits by charging a higher price and reducing its output. And I quote, in other words, there is a winner takes most dynamic at play, especially pronounced in the digital economy, Lagarde said. And I quote, I am not saying that we currently have a monopoly problem, but I am saying that we should take appropriate measures so that it does not become a problem. Increase in market power would lead a company to reduce its demand for capital and therefore its investment, according to the IMF study. It also stifles innovation as the firm would have less incentive to innovate to stay competitive. The study also found that increased market power since 2000 has accounted for at least 10% of the drop in the share of labor income in advanced economies. Lagarde urged policymakers in countries like the United States to take necessary measures to prevent the escalation of the problem in the future. That means reducing barriers to entry for new firms and reforming competition frameworks to ensure a level playing field in all sectors, whether traditional or high tech, she said. Okay, so this is really annoying to me. Someone that has, studied maybe Austrian economics and Rothbardian economics, etc. for years, looking at stuff like this, they say, well, we need to stop the stifling of market innovation and competition and, the fact that they are marking up prices so much, so we need to regulate more. What do you think has led to things like Disney buying Fox? What do you think has led to Bayer buying Monsanto? What do you think has led to these giant monopolies taking over? It's very clear. When you stifle innovation in the sense where you regulate and you tax, guess who can survive? McDonald's and Walmart can certainly survive the minimum wage getting pushed up. They can certainly survive regulations and taxes. Of course they can. They'll just offload, employees and keep propping up the price of whatever it is they sell, and it's still going to be cheaper than the rest of everyone else because those same market regulations, taxes, etc., push the small businesses out of the market. It's so clear, and it's so annoying to watch these people talk about, well, I know we should centralize it or fix it here and, have the hand of God come down and change this. That is how this problem starts in the first place. Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, repeat for eternity. John, what do you think about this absurdity, these restrictions of the market in order to stop the things that lead to the restrictions of the market?
Well, this is pretty obvious what's happening here. It's just them trying to assert more power. And it comes with the book that I've been talking about a long time from the G30 executive director about the new coming, new world order that they want with more market control. And that is just a matter of fact. They just want to fix what they call the free market, which is hilarious that they actually call it that. It's not even close to what a free market should be. It's more a corporate fascist world, which they're talking about, that they want to try to fix with more regulation that's going to just further increase the sizes of these massive corporations. Now, what the plan with the IMF too, they've been talking about the SDR, using that, and it's funny, in their own text they talk about the global multilateral corporations using the SDRs together with, of course, the global governments, and of course the peasants. They will be stuck with the devalued local currencies that we still would have, but in a digital form. So that is what they're looking at here. They are it's a super Hegelian dialectic, Josh, where it's a problem, reaction, and solution, which is just more government. And
they are literally the monopoly man.
No, they are. And of course, they print a whole bunch of special drawing rights as well. Just during 2008, to save the economy, they printed over double the amount of SDRs in order to try to back up the underlying economy. And of course, we all know what the IMF is. They're one of the most corrupt organizations in the world. They don't pay taxes. They're not elected by anybody. They're a government, shadow global government organization that is out there pushing loans onto poor nations and stealing all the resources when they can't pay the loans. That is what Lagarde and IMF is for, and they're a complete, cartel, a mafia cartel that is ran over there at the International Monetary Fund. And we gotta reassert our own power here and say that no, you are not touching what it is. What we need to dismantle is the government that are creating this problem in the first place, by putting in these regulations, making them bigger, these companies, and stifling innovation on the bottom level, where the small businesses is where actually everything is happening, and what grows the economy in general, because they are the biggest part by far of the economy.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at small businesses, where is the incentive? So if people could work together freely and fair and square. And by the way, it's funny because all these statists always call fair, extortion and greed people working hard. It's such a backwards world we live in. But when it comes down to small businesses, the more businesses, the better, because the more they compete, and the more they compete for the best product at the best price, that's where true innovation comes from. Better employment, higher wages, more productivity in circles. That's a different kind of circular spectrum, where it's like a mill. It's like just a perpetual mill. Hamlet's Mill, if you will. It's an old book. I think that it's really important that we understand the true nature of competition, and how the state only stifles it, and the state only does what benefits itself. I mean, talk about monopoly. Someone that an industry or an organization that wants to create a world government, a monopoly on governance and crime and criminality. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And then a world currency that's based on the SDR, but also cashless, a cashless society that's centrally planned. And what does that do? Monopolize the banks. I mean, it's so stupid and ridiculous to see these a bunch of scum talking like they are trying to help people reach out and bring people up, when really all these criminals do is push people on their knees, begging for help, begging for more, handouts. It's a way to kind of to create a perpetual paradigm of people in debt dependence. And we see that worldwide with the banking system. You shove someone down a bottomless pit of debt, and they're forced to ask for a ladder up from the government and the banking system, pushing them right into servitude. These people are criminals in the worst sense of the word. These people run a cartel in order to hightail you out of town, in order to crush you, in order to crush your dreams, indoctrinate your children, destroy every part of your life, make you dependent and irresponsible and degenerate and broke, and ensure that you can't afford food for the table, except for from those monopolies that sell the crappy food that gives people cancer and makes people fat and gives people diabetes, and then shove big pharma down your throat. These people are sick. These people are demented, and then they have the gall to come forward and act as if they have a moral high ground. Mass murder, mass kidnapping, mass theft, mass poisoning, mass, restriction of free will. These people think they have a moral high ground to tell you what to do, to tell you what you should do, to tell you what to think, and that they're going to come in as the saviors and save the day by stopping monopolies.
Well, yeah, says the guys that actually wants a monopoly with the SDR, Josh, which is hilarious. It's just such a joke when it comes to these big global organizations. And of course, I found it really funny in the book that I was reading also as well. They were saying that, no, it's better with having the Financial Stability Board because there's not 167 countries that make a decision like in IMF. It's only maybe 20 people that makes a decision about everything in the world. So it's way better to have that massive dictatorial power. So that is what these guys think is good for you. And of course, they come out and tout that we need to regulate. Nobody's talking about, you didn't, of course, mention the revolving door, Josh, that they have, that the government actually creates because it regulates the organization. And then they just put in their own people there and it just moves around and they put in regulation to then keep out competition, keep out everybody out of the markets to compete with these corrupt organizations. Look at just recently here in Canada, we have a very nice example. Actually, they're on the IMF blacklist. I think 146 of this corporations, companies around the world are on the blacklist of the IMF. And that's SNC-Lavalin, of course, with you have now Trudeau coming in, and they were, the phone call that just came out that they're trying to push, what was the Minister of Justice, right, Josh?
Yeah. The Judy Wilson-Raybould, and of course, Philpott was also pushed out of the cabinet, and the whole idea was that Trudeau, in his riding, there's SNC-Lavalin in Quebec, and we better make sure that they're okay because it'll cost jobs in our locale, and it's re-election soon, so watch out. Yeah, that didn't work out too well for him.
Yeah, and as I said, it's one of the most corrupt corporations in the world, SNC-Lavalin, and it's just a joke about, like, it's so funny to listen to, and this is not just, of course, with the Trudeau government. This is like every single government that have been over the last decades in Canada that have been, working with these corrupt corporations that they want to regulate, like they're going in and regulating by just pushing out even more competition, making them into even bigger monopolies. Yeah. So it's just hilarious to see what actually ends up happening when you have these terrible government people running the show. Like they are, pushing for the ultimate thing, which is communism here, and a global communism. We're talking about, watermelon communism, where it's green on the outside, red on the inside. That's exactly what it is. It's hiding and cloaking itself from that, communist agenda that all these things are trying to massively regulate everything. And they're talking about the free market. We haven't had a free market in I don't know how many years, two centuries.
I've seen a few garage sales and flea markets, but even still, the cops come and arrest the little kids for selling lemonade or something.
Yeah, and it's regulated. Like there's always certain hours you can only sell. It's just ridiculous to watch. How little kids go out and sell lemonade and then they're getting taken down because they don't have a license. Oh yeah, they could kill so many people. How about the money printing that you idiots at the IMF have been printed money together with the criminals at the other central banks in the world that are running the world criminal gang, that are printing money, devaluing currency, killing mass amounts of people throughout war, throughout the creation of debt, going into war, murdering people because of money printing that is happening from you guys. You guys have blood on your hands. It's disgusting, and you are despicable human beings over there at the IMF and every other global organization.
Yeah, so, just looking at it, the number one criminal gangs are also the number one monopolies. That would be the government and their monopoly on free will and force against you, collectivism, etc. And then, of course, a banking cartel. And both are terrible. Both work hand in hand to make sure your life is terrible and to make sure that you are begging on your knees for help from them, more dependent than ever. So, of course, there's more solutions and problems, and those solutions come, from free industry, free enterprise, responsibility, self-sustainability, independence, and, of course, looking to yourself to protect your purchasing power against these things. I mean, look at the monopoly on currency they have with legal tender laws. And
monopoly, biggest monopoly in the world. Yeah. And a pyramid scam.
Yeah, complete scam. So, of course, food, water, shelter, self-defense. You're not gathering things for the toughest guy on the block. Gold and silver as protection of your purchasing power, not meant as an investment, not meant as investment advice. As I always say here at WHAM, it's our opinion. But nonetheless, look at history. We got a link with Mike Maloney pinned below in the comments and the description. And as well as that, we also have to look at decentralized, properly, fundamentally useful cryptocurrencies and blockchain infrastructure technology. In the end, it comes down to you as individuals, and we also are looking at you for anything to keep us going right now. Subscribestar below, there's a link for Subscribestar where we will do, subscriber-only content in the near future. I just got over a flu, and now I'm heading out the door, and I'm going to be heading to Vegas for a week or so, and then I'm maybe a couple more, I don't know, but then eventually I'm going to be heading over to the Sahara Desert to hopefully not die. So I'm going to be bringing you content from there, as well as I know we've gotten a lot of new subscribers lately, and it's good to see the diversification of video, content here on the channel that a lot of people are now witnessing. I'm really glad to see so many new subscribers here at World Alternative Media. Big shout out to Bright Insight for helping kind of push that by commenting on our videos and stuff. And also, I won't be seeing you for let's see, probably until the Red Pill Expo in person anyway. But we will be doing lots of videos over, over YouTube, and our latest WAM contributor, Tim Pashot, and him will be doing videos as well, and hopefully doing good videos. Keep them accountable, guys, because I'm going to be in Sahara Desert.
Awesome. Just watch.
I'm going to have no say over it. So I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm going to come back from the Sahara Desert, have lots of videos to watch, and be alive. Cross your fingers, guys. But with that said, there's lots coming up in the future. Of course, the Winnipeg Crypto Conference, which you're going to be pushing a lot soon. And
actually, about that, Josh, we have a discount code right now, and it's live. So it's WAM is the discount code. You get 10% off, and that helps World Alternative Media a little bit with the proceeds of the sales. So it's pretty exciting.
A lot's going to happen at the Winnipeg Crypto Conference in October in Winnipeg, Canada. And there's lots more. But anyway, I'll see you soon, John. As we close this off, anything left to say?
Well, anything left to say, don't trust the government to tell you that they need to control your world more. What we need is less government, less, lot less. No government is what we need. And we need to start to educate yourself and understand what government and what centralization of control does throughout history. It's always this cycle where you have, it starts with small or no government, maybe in our anarchy or like a small libertarian government. Then because people get lazier and lazier with their powers, like not wanting to be involved, then you end up with peak government, which we are kind of at now. Where
cancer grows.
Yeah, where you see the difference between massive tyrannical corporate fascist structure or communist structure getting pushed, socialism. All this stuff is happening at peak government because the government has grown to such an extent that it's becoming completely useless and sucking up all the energy, printing so much money out of thin air by the deficit spending. So what we got to understand, these governments and the fiat currency that they use together is just, we are in another death cycle that we're getting close to the end. We just got to know what the outcome is, and that is to educate people about the freedoms and the possibilities of actually being self-governed and not being dependent on anybody else but you, and work as a compassionate human being with everybody else around you. Like, what is it just baffles me, the joke when I talk to so many people that says that, oh yeah, we need government because there's so many evil people around. Meanwhile, I go and look at, for example, the Humboldt Broncos. I was just listening to what happened there, and look at all those terrible people sitting there, and the community actually getting together. It's pretty interesting what happens actually when people face diversity. And you see that with natural disasters too, how people actually come together. They're not going and killing each other, they're not murdering each other, they're actually coming together. Surprise, guys, we don't need the government.
Yeah, so you're saying that slavery is bad?
Yeah, we're in slavery right now.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, that's the thing, because government kills more, government steals more, government kidnaps more, government 100%. Pollutes more than any other thing in the world. And then we say, well, what about the bad guys? Well, why is it better to put them in power with guns to our heads and stealing our money? Anyway, we'll continue to go into all this stuff soon. Thanks for joining us, everyone. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change. Like what you see here, WAM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so heavily demonetized and censored by YouTube, as these guys come in and flag all of our content as hate speech. The shadow banning is getting really bad, guys. Also, check our Bitcoin address right here on the screen or in the description below. We really appreciate it. And of course, check us out at the Red Pill Expo 2019. Of course, the great G. Edward Griffin and so many other incredible
incredible speakers will be there. Our link for that is below as well. And we cannot forget Mike Maloney's goldsilver.com, which you can also find in the description. One of the greatest market and monetary historians out there. We really encourage everyone to check that out. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.
I'm sure you have already changed people's minds in your young age because you're involved, and I like that.